Hi, I'm Candace, and welcome to I Am Not a Doctor, where I am not a medical professional, but I will give you the honest truth about health and wellness. I love sifting through the science, so you don't have to. Alright, let's talk about something very near and dear to my heart. Rich, salty, fatty, delicious butter. Yes, I am a woman talking about eating butter, which can be seriously controversial. I can just hear all the skinny olive oil girls gasping and clutching their kale. We are going to dive into why butter is a better choice than any plant oils out there and how it's actually the OG superfood. Don't believe me? Stay tuned. One of the first things I tell any woman that has a conversation with me and wants to do anything from improve her mood to lose weight is to start cutting out all of the plant oils. A lot of times I get pushback because we've been led to believe that plant oils are healthy. We've been told over and over again that saturated fat is bad, butter is bad. We grew up, a lot of us, in the I can't believe it's not butter generation. And so trying to break that mindset can be really challenging. So I want to break down some of the most commonly used oils and talk a little bit about their history. Canola oil, formerly known as rapeseed oil, which we can see why they changed that name, used to be a lubricant in naval machinery during World War II. So I just want that to sink in for you a little bit. Something that they used to lubricate machines, you're eating when you go to the Whole Foods hot bar. Then we have another vegetable oil with a sordid history. Does anybody remember Crisco back in the day in that little can? You scoop it out on a paper towel, put it in muffin tins. That's what we did. I don't know. We lived in the South. That was a thing. Crisco was originally used for candles and soap making. The two things that these products have in common is not only that they're both vegetable oils, but that the influx of these in our society had nothing to do with your health. It had to do with these companies wanting to make money. They saw an opportunity to take something that they used on machinery and tell people it was suddenly good for them, and then their profits were going to skyrocket. Procter & Gamble actually started marketing Crisco pre-World War I. They were some of the first people to say that if you used vegetable oil instead of animal products, lard or tallow or butter, that was the choice that women who were more educated and refined used. You weren't this savage woman using animal products. No. You were smart. You were intelligent. This is what you did if you wanted to be that kind of woman, was use Crisco. This marketing had nothing to do with our health. It was all about how can we position this to make money. And obviously women want to be educated and refined. They want their husbands to feel that way. And so this is the product, because the women did most of the shopping, that they were bringing into their homes. And you might say, okay, well, I don't use Crisco because I'm not your grandma from the South. And that's fair. But these oils are not any different from the sunflower oil in your granola. None of these are shelf stable. They go rancid very quickly, and they cause your body a lot of inflammation because your body was never meant to have them in the quantity we're having them in the first place. The problem is that these oils have become so ingrained in our society that even if we're not actively choosing to eat them, you're probably still eating them. They're in almost everything from ice cream to cereal to protein powders, and they're in things that aren't even necessary. You'll see a bag of baked potato chips and you'll be like, this is awesome, but then the natural flavors have some sort of vegetable oil in them. They just couldn't stand to not put a little bit of poison in there for you. So we started vilifying saturated fat way back in the day, but then jumped to 1977 and a decree by the US Senate committee that people should consume less saturated fat went out. And this really gave the food industry carte blanche to go ahead and promote sugar-laden, carbohydrate-rich products as low fat, and they became more healthy. And these low-fat products that a lot of us grew up on coincided with a surge in diet-related catastrophes, including heightened obesity, diabetes, and metabolic syndrome rates that are off the charts. The thing is, we are eating less saturated animal fats, and yet we are getting sicker and sicker. Problem is, we've been vilifying these animal products for years for the wrong reasons, and we're not talking about diets that are high in vegetable oil are high in omega-6. Studies have shown that diets that are high in omega-6 correlate with increased chronic inflammatory diseases such as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, cardiovascular disease, obesity, inflammatory bowel disease, and Alzheimer's disease. And you can see a trend in these going up since we stopped eating saturated fats. There's a wonderful documentary that's free to watch. You can find it on YouTube called Fat. It's just called Fat, a documentary. And I would recommend anybody who's curious about this and who wants to get even more into the details of how these things came about, how they became dietary guidelines, how we really moved away from this, what sort of the conspiracy behind it was. You should definitely go watch that documentary. It's one of my favorites. It's a lot of really great fact-based information. Maybe you don't know that vegetable oils are high in omega-6s, but you do know that inflammation is bad. Omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids are pro-inflammatory. If you're sore, if you have joint pain, if your skin is red, this could be from plant oils. So ultimately, this is why butter becomes a much better choice. The composition of butter is much higher in omega-3s than omega-6s, which makes it much more anti-inflammatory. There's also a lot of natural fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, K2. Butyrate, if any of you have ever had any gut issues, you'll know is a short-chain fatty acid, beneficial for gut health, and it also has anti-inflammatory effects, and it also supports weight loss. You're not getting any of these things from the vegetable oils that you're eating. And I know it's hard to wrap your brain around this thought that cholesterol is okay for you because we've just been brainwashed to think that cholesterol is bad. Cholesterol equals heart disease. If I have butter, I'm going to die of a heart attack and I'm going to be huge. That's just not the truth. Cholesterol is essential for life. In fact, the body produces more cholesterol than most can consume in their daily diet. And it's used to make everything from cell walls to insulate nerves, to carry fat in the blood, make hormones, make vitamin D, repair injured tissues. The list just goes on and on and on. When we're babies, we're actually taking in an enormous amount of cholesterol. Typically 33% of the lipids in breast milk are cholesterol. And there's actually a lot of research out there showing that older people who have higher levels of cholesterol have a lowered risk of death, depression, dementia, violent behavior. And we can see this. A lot of times people will go on statins, lower their cholesterol, and then they start to have these other correlating side effects, dementia, depression, Alzheimer's. This is because your brain needs cholesterol. Your brain is the most cholesterol-rich organ in the body. And when you're feeding your brain properly, then you start to feel better. A lot of times women will say, oh, my hormones are out of balance. I need to do more cold plunging, or my hormones are out of balance. I need to get on birth control. But cholesterol is a critical building block for the production of hormones. From cholesterol, your body makes a chemical called pregnenolone. And this is referred to as a mother hormone, from which all of the other hormones are derived. Hormones play a vital role not only in the health of your brain and how you think, but also how you feel and how you act. If your cholesterol is too low, you won't have the adequate precursors to produce hormones. This can lead to things like you being hangry, you having skin issues, you having weight gain, you being really sad for no reason at all. So look, this is what you can do. You can start right now by saying that you are going to try to avoid plant oils as much as possible. You need to start to look at the ingredients on your food. I guarantee you, if you go into your cabinet right now, you will be surprised at the amount of things that contain vegetable oils. So when you go to the grocery store, you're just going to start to turn around the package, and if it contains vegetable oil, just going to put it back. When you grab oatmeal, you're not going to get the oatmeal with the vegetable oil, you're just going to get plain oats. Some other easy things you can do are ask your server to cook your food in butter. That's really easy. I've been doing that for years. You just want to make sure that the kitchen has butter that's actually real butter. Sometimes kitchens will use butter that's cut with canola oil. So you want to ask, does your kitchen have real butter? And can you cook my food in butter and not oil? A lot of self-serve places can also tell you the ingredients in your food. So I know I mentioned Whole Foods before, but they're big users of canola oil, so we want to try to nix that. Anywhere else you can go, they should have a nutrition binder behind the counter, and you can look in there to make sure that what you're getting doesn't have vegetable oils in it. Something cool that you can also do is you can actually make a little card and bring it with you that says you are allergic to vegetable and seed oils. And then you can hand that to your server and they can give it to the kitchen to make sure everything is crystal clear. We need to start thinking with our fat, cholesterol-filled brains and make choices based on science, not on marketing. My challenge for you is to start swapping out your oils for butter. Stop buying foods with added oils in them. Comment below if you're up for the challenge or if you've started making these swaps and how it's been affecting you. Let me know how you feel incorporating butter into your diet. It can feel a little weird at first for those of us who were trained that butter is the devil, but you've actually been lied to about it, and it's time that you let butter reclaim its rightful place in your refrigerator. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. If you want more simple, straightforward wellness advice, please subscribe to my channel. Remember that you are in control of your health. It just might take changing everything you thought you knew to get to where you want to be.